Donald Trump is officially at war with the church, and this could get very ugly very quickly. Welcome to Occupy Democrats. I'm David Reddish. Amid all the recent talk of Pope Leo XIV becoming the first American pope, and the ongoing mess of Trump's tariff war, another strange story has gotten lost amid the media commentary. This week, Donald Trump will allow refugee status for 49 white South Africans to resettle in the United States. Over the weekend, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, better known as Liar Barbie, explained the program to reporters.
The president has shown support for South African refugees that are coming to the United States next week. Can you talk about what these refugees are fleeing and why this is a priority for the administration?
Well, the president has actually signed an executive order on that matter. My office can get it back to you, Michael. This group in South Africa has faced racial persecution. In fact, the government there has vowed to take away their farmland that they own. And so the president has talked significantly about this. As for further details on refugee claims and asylum claims, I would defer you to the State Department.
Given the nature of those vague statements, and that the 49 refugees had their status fast-tracked, they weren't even screened by the United Nations to see if they qualify for refugee status under international law, which is standard in cases like this. Naturally, there were some big lingering questions about it all. In particular, since said refugees are said to arrive earlier this week. And no wonder the church is mad. Stay with us. At a press conference earlier today, here's what Trump had to say.
Now this comes as you've halted virtually all refugee admissions for people fleeing famine and war from countries like Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Why are you creating an expedited path into the country for Afrikaners but not others?
Because they're being killed, and we don't want to see people be killed. Now, South Africa leadership is coming to see me, I understand, sometime next week. And, we're supposed to have I guess a G20 meeting there or something, but we're having a G20 meeting. I don't know how we can go unless that situation's taken care of, but it's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about, but it's a terrible thing that's taking place, and farmers are being killed. They happen to be white, but whether they're white or black makes no difference to me, but white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa, and the newspapers and the media, television media doesn't even talk about it. If it were the other way around, they'd talk about it. That would be the only story they'd talk about. And I don't care who they are. I don't care about their race, their color. I don't care about their height, their weight. I don't care about anything. I just know that what's happening is terrible. I have people that live in South Africa. They say it's a terrible situation taking place. So we've essentially extended citizenship to those people to escape from that violence and come here.
Wow, there are so many problems with what that man just said. We'll get to all that in a moment, but before we do, know that in light of this news and Trump's statements, the Episcopal Church has issued a rare and startling rebuke of Trump's refugee policy. Check this out. Newsweek now reports that presiding Bishop Sean Rowe has said the church will not comply with government directives instructing church officials to aid in the resettlement of the South African refugees. The reason? Trump's policy is racist. Rowe said, quote, "In light of our church's steadfast commitment to racial justice and reconciliation and our historic ties with the Anglican Church of South Africa, we are not able to take this step. Accordingly, we have determined that by the end of the federal fiscal year, we will conclude our refugee resettlement grant agreements with the U.S. federal government," unquote. So let's break all that down, shall we? Donald Trump claims there is a genocide of white landowners in South Africa, farmers specifically. State data, however, says there was only one farm owner killed last year. Further police reports debunk the idea of widespread killing of white landowners as well. In fact, a South African court assessed claims of genocide in February and found them to be without merit. It's also important to note that the court case was not sparked by wide outcry or witnesses of the killing of white farmers. It was sparked by comments made by Elon Musk and a white supremacist organization alleging white genocide in South Africa. Musk's comments likely reference a new and rarely used South African law that allows farmland to be seized by the government from white landowners under very rare and extreme circumstances. The The reason for that is that though apartheid ended years ago, much of the farmland in the country is still owned by a small percentage of super wealthy white people. Under the auspice of this potential land seizure, Trump has instituted sanctions against South Africa, and now he's offering refugee status to rich white people from the country. Worse, he is doing it while denying non-white Christians from other nations, Sudan, Congo, and a host of Central and South American nations, the same status. So once again, Trump has fallen back on racist dog whistles to make it seem like the world is out to get rich white people. Don't act surprised either. This is, after all, a president that once called neo-Nazis very fine people, wanted to deploy martial law to stop the peaceful protests over police brutality in 2020, and who revoked the refugee status of people who are fleeing actual documented genocide from Central and South America. So, is it any wonder that Bishop Rowe, like Pope Leo, is furious with Donald Trump? No wonder the churches are turning on the man. Good for them. For the rest of us, the Trump embarrassment continues. And for the record, that's not just an embarrassment for Americans. He's an embarrassment to white people worldwide. Please don't hold it against us. This is Occupy Democrats.